Love, live, life. Life can be glorious and hideous. Stick your feet to the ground, but don't think you are counted out. Don't let the wind pull you and tear you apart. Let yourself live freely and love, and you'll be happy. No limits. Just keep on.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another IronWill Podcast with me, Shane Warner, and
John Chase.
So what this podcast is all about is we are trying to get stories from people that have been through a traumatic experience in their lives and came out a different person.
Yeah, they have all created an iron will. So what is an iron will? A burning determination that cannot be stopped or hindered by anything, willing to do anything to get a desired outcome, extremely resilient. So what we like to say is just keep punching.
Yeah. So sit back and relax, and we're going to start the show. So today we have my mom on the podcast again, and she is kind of number one
cool person in the world.
No, number one of our guests. She's been on the most times. So
that's right.
Anyway, what this podcast is going to be is the Ask IronWill podcast. And so we had you guys submit some questions to us through an email account, and then we're just going to answer them. And thank you for everyone that submitted a question. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say something before we start. I want to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday
We
to
wish it was our
Shane.
birthday so we could be awesome too.
It is
Thank you.
Shane's
Thank
birthday
you.
today. Yep.
Yeah. December 17th is when we're recording this. So yeah, it's my birthday, and
And you are
34.
34.
Yeah.
Wow. And 2 days ago was his 8-year anniversary. 8-year anniversary of his brain injury, and 8-year Alive Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
that's right.
Yep.
My other birthday.
Yeah. That's right. So, yeah, a lot of history this month.
Yep. That's right.
So, all right. Are you guys ready to get in the hot seats?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, some of these questions, I don't think they've heard any of them. So, they're all going to be kind of on the spot, spur of the moment answer and questions. So, first question that we want to ask is, how did you and John meet?
Okay.
I'll let John.
Yeah. So I remember the first time I met Shane, I was working at Anytime Fitness as a trainer, personal trainer, and I did some group classes there as well. And I actually saw Shane a few times before we actually met.
Yeah, I remember bumping into you sometimes at the gym and stuff.
Yeah. I would only go down there once a week because I was also starting my own gym at the time. And Shane ended up being getting like a training session with me. And yeah, we kind of kicked it off there. That was probably how long ago?
3 years ago,
3 years
maybe?
ago, something like that. Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
And yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, and if I don't know how many recently videos you've put of you working out and John helping you. John makes a lot of awesome videos when Shane's working out, and other people too. And there's a lot of those on Shane's
there are
Facebook or Instagram or somewhere. So
he's made a lot of progress since then too. Just working on functionality and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think that's a big, like, I put that on your shoulders a lot because you, like, the main focus that John has me do is functionality, and so it's what I need.
Yeah, it's not. I don't base it off of like, let's see what Shane can squat or see what he can deadlift or see what, you know what I mean?
Just doing the action.
It's getting that, while doing the action, you're getting that brain to connect so that the movements become more and more natural
Yeah.
again.
Automatic, more automatic
yes.
too. Yes,
Yeah.
and that's the challenge of a brain injury. You're not
sure.
training the muscles; you're training the brain to do the movements, like you said.
Yep.
So,
And that can be really frustrating and
time consuming.
well, to have a person like John on my team is really huge for my my gains in movement and that kind of thing.
Oh, thanks, Shane.
Yeah, that's right.
Appreciate it.
That's right.
And we've
So,
become good friends over the years.
Yep.
Now.
that's right. And
And,
so it's kind of meant to be almost.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
kind of fell into place. And
Yep.
Well,
sometimes life does that.
When did we actually start like thinking about doing this?
podcast?
Like, yeah, the podcast stuff. I mean,
I don't know.
I know it all started with some conversations about.
We were the original idea that I remember was
Like physical therapy.
we
stuff.
were gonna just talk after we did a therapy session.
Workouts.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's when the funny conversations happen.
Yeah.
Is at that time. So
Yeah.
And then I think right after you were on Dakota's
Yeah.
podcast, these ideas started forming.
Yeah.
They didn't ever gel up, until
Yeah,
it takes some time.
Yeah, it wasn't anything set in stone.
That's right.
No,
Yeah.
it kind of progressed, just like slowly progressed into it. We would always talk about mindset and all that kind of stuff. And we have a lot of very similar ideas, and that iron will mindset just kind of
Yeah,
matched
right.
both
Blossom,
of us.
yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So it was born.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready for another
So
one?
another birthday. So now we have 3.
That's right. We're going to have to find out when that other birthday was because
Yeah.
you're kind of forgetting. But I
Yeah.
guess you could maybe
Yeah.
make the day of your first podcast be
Yeah.
that birthday, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Which is like June 7th or something like that.
Well, if you know,
I don't
that
know.
sounds
I don't
pretty.
know.
Well, you've done.
For sure.
You're saying this one's maybe 41, and if you
yeah.
did one a week at average, and sometimes
Two.
something like that, it's
Sometimes too.
going to
Yeah,
be coming up on a year before too long.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
it's awesome.
So, all right, here's the next one then. And I think, I feel like they kind of aimed this one at Shane, but it could go for John too. So maybe just you can both
Answer.
Yep, I'm
Yeah,
going to do Shane first because it's kind of aimed towards Shane. Was it hard for you to accept the changes you experienced after your injury? How long did it take, and what was the process like?
So, I don't know. Can you repeat the question?
Was it hard for you to accept the changes you experienced?
Okay. So, the changes I experienced were super hard at first, and then my mindset, the IronWill mindset, started to come into play. And so one of the hardest things that I had to deal with was not being able to speak and say what I wanted to say.
Right.
And so I would focus on that, so that wasn't necessarily hard, but it was something that I had to focus on every day, and that's what made it not hard, is having to do it.
Having something to
Yes.
concentrate on. That's right.
And it took a while.
Yeah.
It took a while.
Yeah, it took a while.
And you're still working on
Yeah.
these things too.
Right.
So it says, how long did it take? Well,
I'm still
There you
working
go.
on it.
and maybe they're saying, how long did it take to accept the
Right.
maybe.
changes? But you had no choice. The
Well,
changes
I'm
are there.
still working on that also.
That's right.
So it's taken 8 years.
8 years so far.
Yeah, so
and
far.
counting. And then
There
it
you go.
says the last part of the question was, what was the process like, which you kind of already explained. And what would you say to help someone through the process?
I would say to someone that's going through that process, just keep doing something every day, because what I've found with this COVID bullshit that's going on right now is I had to take some breaks from the gym, but if I would have just got outside and walked around and did something like that, it would have been a lot easier for me to get back into it,
For sure.
Right. So no breaks.
Yeah.
No time off.
No days off.
No days off.
Yep.
That's right.
There's always got to be something, right?
Yep.
Just so you can
it keeps you mentally focused.
Even if you're just reading a book for that day.
Yeah.
And
just if whatever you set your mind to do that day, do it.
And I think the main thing is that I take away from my experience is it's important to do something that you don't want to do every day. Like there's days that I don't want to work out, but I do it anyway because those are the most important days to work out.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm feeling resistant.
Yep. Okay, so kind of along the same lines then, John, you've had challenges in your life, so you can tweak this to something for you.
So really kind of the acceptance part, again, took a long time because throughout my 20s, I wanted to blame. I wanted to blame my childhood for the reasons why I couldn't make money, or the reasons why I had anchor issues, or the reasons why, there's all these different things, right?
Looking for somebody to
like,
blame, right?
Yeah, exactly. And really getting to the point where I could actually firmly say that I am, and using those words for sure, the words I am are very powerful. And I use those words every day in the mirror. But to say that I went from a victim of my circumstances, right, to a warrior with purpose. And it was just finding that purpose. And that's the part that took a long time.
Yeah.
But the heaviest motivation, I think I have mentioned this before, but the biggest motivation I had when I was in my 20s, and I wanted to see a change in my life and not be that victim of my past anymore and recreate a new story, was I wanted to become what my father wasn't.
Right.
I did not want to become him, right? So I had that massive motivation of like, look what he has in his life. I don't want that.
I don't want to end up like that.
I don't want to end up like that. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do the opposite things.
There you go. That was your roadmap.
It was.
And sometimes that's
right. That's why you can learn from everybody.
The easiest people to learn from is people you don't necessarily agree with.
Sure. And here's the just to say, I mended my relationship with my father before he passed last year, and there, we had a great relationship the last several years
Later
of his
on,
life.
So
but in my 20s, I did have that motivation, and we talked about that too. So I'm not downing my father at all. Like, he was in this situation that he was in.
It's not something you wouldn't tell him.
Well, I did tell him that because he asked me. He's like, "How did you turn out? Like, how did you become like the person you became?"
I had the perfect example
of what not to be. So
that's good.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was, and it's taken a while to fully accept that kind of stuff, because I still have some times where I feel like I could
use that excuse.
Use an excuse. And it's the same thing. Like, I don't really want to work out.
But you have to keep, like Shane says, keep going. You have to, on the hard
no
days,
matter
on
what,
those days when those thoughts come, those are the ones you have to push away.
That's like the good speech by Jocko.
Good.
Yeah. You can't do what you want to do. Good. You have an opportunity to get better.
Do something else. That's right.
Yeah.
So to sum up a little bit, both of you, well, maybe more, it's both. Mentally, when something is so hard, like Shane, you don't want to go work out, or John, you want to maybe fall back into that blame. Once you decide mentally and you push that away, isn't it amazing how easy you think, why was that so hard?
Yeah.
You resist that thought a lot of times. You fight your own self. And then once you do it, and it's kind of forgiveness is similar. And you have had to do,
for sure,
both of you, gone through some forgiveness of other people. And even maybe in Shane's case, I don't know about you, John, but forgive yourself because, you made a mistake. As you look back, That was a mistake, right?
You have to kind of forgive yourself.
So yourself is huge.
No matter what, because if you don't, you're going to be in constant.
You're going to be wallowing in
constant sorrow.
And I feel like that